Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. It's great to have a full house, except we can't tell it's a full house. So I'm going to ask if folks will please come join these seats in the front, join the family so they're not sitting by themselves. I had the sheriff and one of the chiefs in the area warned me that all the police would just sit in the back of the room and watch. So prove them wrong. Come on up, please. Let's fill in these seats. And we will get going after everybody is sitting comfortably. It's great to have everybody here today. Thank you. Okay, so before we start the meeting by calling the roll, just let folks know we've got a teeny tiny bit of business that we're going to get through. And then we'll move into the special business of the day. Then we're going to stop the meeting and we'll actually have the ceremony, the pipes, drums, and then the swearing in, and then invite everybody to stay after for lunch. So thanks everybody for being here. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Corliss.
Here.
Halliburton.
Here.
Morales.
Here.
Nash.
Here.
Stead.
Here.
Willits. Here. All present.
Thank you. Next up, we have some meeting minutes for approval.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the minutes for the work session and regular meeting of August 20th, 2024.
Second. We have a motion, a second, clerk?
Corliss.
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
Nash.
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
Willits. Yes. All in favor, motion carries.
Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, we're going to get into some remarks first before we do the full meeting for Chief Weiniger.
We can do that.
Okay.
That sounds great.
All right.
All right. With the council president's suggestion, I had written this down this way, but then I thought it moved to later. Before we move into the consent agenda, Ron's right here in front, Ron Weiniger, our current chief. I want to thank you. So I'm going to thank you now, and we're going to have a celebration for you on September 20th, but would be remiss if we didn't start this day with thanking you for your service that you provided. He made a joke a couple minutes ago that he was going to try to grow a mustache so he looked like he did the day he started as a Boise police officer way, way, way back in the day. He spared us for today, but I think you might get the surprise on September 20th. Sorry, Ron. But I laughed and smiled because I started thinking about what people looked like back in the day when you started as an officer. And then it led me to how long you have served this city and this department with distinction. Deeply appreciate your service throughout your career, the sacrifices that you made, the sacrifices that your family made, and all that you did for the officers that are here with us today, those that came before us, and of course, for the thousands of Boiseans who have been impacted by your service. And then you heeded the call when I called, and for that, I will be forever grateful. So thank you. Congratulations on a career of service, a career of honor, and look forward to celebrating you and for you really to retire once and for all and enjoy that time that you so deserve with your family. So thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, thank you, Ron. So excited for you and new opportunities ahead of you. We did have a conversation earlier wondering if just retiring from BPD again, if that means you're going to be retiring from the drums, and I certainly hope not. Okay, you're still our point person there, so we're covered. The things that keep me up at night related to my job as a city council person often intersect with the work that you're doing, whether that's a missing kid, whether that's a shooting, whether that's just general public safety issues. And what I need in a police chief is someone that can offer that trust and reassurance that they have the trust of both their officers and the community. and so that we have someone we trust to keep us safe. And you've earned that trust with our community with your blood, with your sweat, and I'm sure a few tears along the way. And uh, I appreciate your longtime service to this city, and just know that as someone with some responsibility related to the city, it's brought me a great deal of trust and reassurance and more sleep at night, knowing that you've been at the helm. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your service over the years to the city. And thank you for the trust that you've built over such a long and lengthy career, earning that respect of both the public and your officers. So thank you.
Madam Mayor, I think that there'll be a really good time for longer words and a longer story at another date. But we've got a room full of people who are here today for a big deal for the city. And so it's an appropriate time to say at least a couple things. I'm always interested in when people see large obstacles in front of them and how they react to it. Do they stand still? Do they back away? Or do they step up? And I just want to say thank you for stepping up multiple times as chief, multiple times as an officer, all these years for the city of Boise. Whenever there's been an obstacle in front of you, you've never ran the other way. You've always moved closer towards it. And you've done that as an example of what we expect from everybody else. And you've just done an amazing job at showing what leadership looks like through that example. I'll save the rest of my stories for a later date, but want to say thank you for stepping up multiple times.
Madam Mayor, I just want to echo the comments of my fellow council people. There's not many people who retire after a great career and then come back when they're asked to again. And I'm so grateful that we've had your service and your leadership over the last several years, and the respect that you have of your department and of the community, I think speaks volumes to the career that you've had here. And I'm grateful that we've been able to reap those benefits, and you'll be missed, and looking forward to further celebrations. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you very much. We will now take the consent agenda. I wanted to flag on the consent agenda. We have both, we have a list of items on the consent that we'll go through, and then I'll take any discussion after. Council President.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I just point out items 24 and 25. We're going to defer those.
Gotcha.
Those resolutions. So I'd first move that we defer resolutions 456-24 and 457-24 to September 10th, 2024 due to delay in closing on the project.
Second.
Thanks. Clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts. All in
Ma-
favor, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, I think we have a problem with Councilmember Willis's audio. Could we just check that? I think, is the clerk having trouble hearing her?
Yeah, we've not heard her at all.
Can we hear you, Lucy?
Lucy, I think we're looking for a testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear me?
It says it doesn't say she's muted.
Can you hear me? Can't hear me?
Greg? It's like Greg is the Wizard of Oz. There he is in a little box behind everybody back there. It's on council member. It's on your end is what we're being told.
Can you hear me?
I feel like it's actually. Try again, let's see.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us? Okay, all right. We'll just have, I think that, yeah, just do that. Great. All right, how many years into Zoom and we still haven't nailed it? We will now move into ordinances. We
Madam
have,
Mayor, I
oh,
think we need to move approval of the full consent agenda.
was that just the motion to remove?
Mhm.
Okay,
I second that.
We have a motion, a second discussion. Clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
Yes.
All in favor,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. And now we will move into ordinances on the third reading.
Madam Mayor, I move that further reading of ORD 18-24, ORD 19-24, ORD 20-24, ORD -21-24, and ORD -22-24 be dispensed with, and the record reflect they have been read the third time in full.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries. ORD 18-24, an ordinance entitled the Annual Appropriation Ordinance for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, appropriating $1,446,953,286 deemed necessary to defray all expenses and liabilities of the city of Boise City, Idaho for said fiscal year, specifying the objects and purposes for which said appropriation is made, repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance, authorizing a levy of a sufficient tax upon the taxable property, and providing an effective date. ORD 19-24, an ordinance amending Title IX, Chapter 2 of Boise City Code. This amendment updates the definition of a dwelling unit or accessory dwelling unit, the development impact fees per service unit and related schedule of development impact fees, and provides an effective date of October 1, 2024. ORD 20-24, an ordinance CAR 23-00024 for property located at 11800 West Overland Road, amending zoning classifications of the city of Boise City to change the classification of real property, particularly described in section 1 of this ordinance and adjacent rights of way, from R-1B residential suburban to R-1C residential traditional, setting forth a reading statement in support of such zone change and providing an effective date. ORD 21-24, an ordinance CAR 24-00002 for property located at the southwest corner of the intersection of South Warehouse Way and East Freight Street, annexing 76.31 acres of certain lands and territory situated in Ada County, Idaho, adjacent and contiguous to the corporate limits of the city of Boise City, establishing and determining the land use classification of said 76.31 acres as I-2/AI-O, industrial heavy with the airport influence overlay, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such annexation and zone change, directing the city engineer to lodge and file a legal description and map for said annexed lands and territory, providing that copies of this ordinance shall be filed with the Ada County Auditor, the Ada County Treasurer, the Ada County Assessor, the Ada County Recorder, and the Idaho State Tax Commission, providing that a copy of said legal description and map of said annexed lands and territory be recorded with the Ada County Recorder and filed with the Ada County Assessor and the Idaho State Tax Commission as required by law, and providing an effective date. ORD 22-24, an ordinance CAR 22-00034 for property located at 672 to 678 Ash Street and 1110 to 1136 River Street, amending zoning classifications of the city of Boise City to change the classification of real property, particularly described in section 1 of this ordinance and adjacent rights of way, from MX-5 to MX-5/DA, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such zone change and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD 18-24 be approved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second discussion.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
We pass our budget through ordinance. You'll notice if you've got a document in front of you, there's a rather large amount there. I want to say thank you to our city staff who put so much work into getting this done. This is sort of the final step through a almost year-long process. We have Eric here. We have several of our different department directors here, our council and our mayor. The amount of work that goes into this thing is just absolutely unbelievable. The changes, the adjustments that are made along the way, some that are within our control, some that aren't. And so I just want to give some credit to where the credit's due to the staff who put so much work in here. And this is the final vote that kind of sends it along its way. So thank you for all that hard work.
Anything further? I will point out that, yes, we had a public hearing, which there are some of you in the room that were with us that evening, and voted to put this on to reading. This is, as Councilmember Halliburton said, the result of a whole bunch of work, and a lot of community impact. And I'm proud that this budget allows us to make good on the expectations of our community that wants to see that we're a safe and healthy city for everyone. We're making investments in parks in every district in the city, have solutions for pools, which is exciting. We'll continue the work that we have been able to do in the last couple of years to ensure that everybody has a home that they can afford to live in here in Boise and more, and really appreciate the community feedback throughout the process, the team that helped each and every one of us achieve our goals in response to our neighborhoods and residents, and do it in a way that makes sense and keeps us on track to be the safe and welcoming city that we are. So thank you all. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
No.
5 in favor, 1 opposed, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD-19-24 be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts. All in favor, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD-20-24 be approved.
Second.
Clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
Yep.
All in favor, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD-21-24 be approved.
Second.
Motion and second, clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD-22-24 be approved.
Second.
Motion and second, clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Now we are on to the main event, the special business of the day. I would like to say a couple things about Chris Dennison and then put the nomination before the city council. I'm so pleased that I can't see, where is Chris? Is he? Oh, never mind. You don't have to come in. I thought maybe he was in here. So pleased that Chris accepted the offer to become Boise's next police chief. And I also have to say thank you to all of our officers, our community members that shared with us expectations and needs and desires that they had to be a safe and welcoming city. Each and every one of you in the room and throughout this community that took part in the process, either in providing us feedback, in serving as a member of a panel that interviewed our finalists, the review committee that worked with me, and of course the city council as well. And through that very deep community focus and department focus process, I made the decision to offer this position to Chris Dennison. And I did that because I heard over and over again from people that had talked with him, from our officers, from people that served alongside him in Tucson, that he was deeply committed to community. And we as Boiseans are deeply committed to community, to taking care of each other. And that's so much of what makes this place so special. We want someone who loves Boise as much as we do to be here and who's as deeply committed to the people of this place as we are. And Chris has proven that in Tucson, and I know we'll do that here. We were looking for someone that would take care of our officers and, put officer wellness, care, and morale first. Has demonstrated as a leader of a large team in Tucson that he's done that. And in the questions and conversations that he had, demonstrated again how serious he was about putting officers first and creating a culture of support. Because we have to support the officers that are supporting each and every one of us as our city stays safe and as they come to help us in some of the toughest times that we as residents experience. I was looking for somebody that would collaborate with law enforcement around this region and throughout the state. Appreciate the sheriff's engagement, Chief Tracy from Meridian's engagement, the discussions I've had with folks and leaders in law enforcement around this region, and your feedback. And again, it was demonstrated and believed that Chris was a person committed to collaboration, to building relationships so that we can provide the best for our residents that we possibly can. And so it's for those reasons, and then the recommendations and references that I had long conversations with, that I chose to offer Chris Dennison this position. And I'm so excited to put his nomination before the council and to welcome Chris and his family to Boise.
Madam Mayor, I'd move that Chris Dennison be confirmed as Chief of the Police effective September 20th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is there additional discussion?
Madam Mayor, I just commend you for the process that we got us to this point, and for all the different folks that you sought feedback from, both law enforcement and the public. We had a deep pool of applicants, both internal and external, and we had a lot of eyes on this process. And so I just want to commend you for involving council and the public and law enforcement in that, in those discussions. I also want to congratulate Chris on going through all of the, I think the day we interviewed him, he was interviewing 4 other different panels that day. So appreciate you enduring us, putting you through the ringer on this. I will just say about Chris, been impressed with him the entire way. And we worked real hard to find someone that didn't like Chris, and we have been unable to find someone. He's worked at a single police department in Tucson and has glowing reviews from both people that have worked below him and his supervisors. And I find Chris to be very thoughtful, very intentioned, and he's the kind of guy that I'm hopeful has a long and storied career with us, moving on to his now second department. But I appreciate Chris and his family. We welcome you and welcome to the Boise family, and we look forward to years of service from him.
Madam Mayor, is this
Yes.
the time to make all of our comments?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's
You're,
strange.
you're debating the motion.
Yes, but it's strange because I feel like I'm talking to someone, but I'm actually kind of talking to him out in the hallway as well. So I'm sure he can hear everything that I'm going to say. This is a really hard job. Really hard job to be the chief of police in any single city in the country, and certainly a hard job in the city of Boise as well. And one of the reasons why it's difficult is you've got a lot of expectations to fill. You've got expectations to meet the needs of your team on the Boise Police Department, expectation to meet the needs of the community, also the expectation to meet the needs of council and leadership. And then we've got our partners in law enforcement. We've got our unions. There's a lot of folks out there that you're trying to figure out how do you meet the needs of everybody at the same time. It can be really challenging. And that's why this job is so important. It's important to you and the family. And it's certainly important to our city as well. So what I would say to the family, from somebody who's born and raised in Boise, welcome. Welcome to Boise. We're so glad to have you. And I think when I think about the importance of this to our community, I think about all the changes that Boise has experienced over the years. So many changes. But one of the things that haven't changed is our love and our belief in this community, and that we are kind to each other, that we treat each other like neighbors. And as we all know, the police department has a major role to play in making sure that we maintain that feeling of safety, that kindness, that neighborliness. And so this is an important job for a lot of people and an important day in Boise. I'm confident that Chris has the ability to meet those expectations, to navigate all the things that he needs to do, and to bring the skills that he has to our community, but also to fit right in, and to fit right into that culture that we love and that we have in Boise that's so important to us and that we continue to maintain as our city experiences more changes along the way. So Chris, can't look you in the eye right now. You're back there in the hallway. I'll get to say it again in a second. I think you're going to get the votes here. So congratulations. Welcome to Boise.
Madam Mayor, I'll be real brief. I do echo all the sentiments from my colleagues here. And I just want to say thank you to Chief Dennison for accepting the position here, for working through a rigorous process that was laid out before him. And thank you to the family, because it is a family decision whether or not to accept and to relocate. And I know moving when you don't have friends and family in the area is a really difficult choice. And thank you for making that choice. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I too want to welcome the Dennison family. Thank you for accepting this offer, all of you. Obviously a big move, but it's a really great place. You're going to love it. And I just want to say that I appreciated involvement in this process. My interactions with Chris was that I found him to be someone that is excited to get under the hood and look and see what fuels this department, what drives this department to do a lot of really good things that they've done over the years. And I know that he'll be able to gain that understanding and look at those ways that we can continue to push that further. And so I have all the trust in Chief Dennison and looking forward to supporting this motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to just echo the comments said, but I look forward to, Chris has already shown a great commitment to the city of Boise by accepting the position and relocating his family here. I have no doubt that he'll lead with honor and integrity. On the interview panel, I think we learned a lot about his creative problem-solving strategies for all different kinds of things, from community policing to recruitment of women to the force, and all kinds of things in between. I really look forward to him bringing his experience and vision to the city of Boise. Look forward to working with him.
That's everybody. All right. Clerk?
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Well, congratulations. I'm going to ask that you please join me in rising for the presentation of colors. After that, we'll have the national anthem, and then I'd ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ready. Oh. What?
Please be seated. All right, it is now my privilege to administer the oath of office. So I'd ask that Chris Dennison please come join me. Which way are you? All right, will you please repeat after me? I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Idaho,
and the state of Idaho,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Boise,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Boise,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully and honorably perform
faithfully and honorably perform
the duties of the office of Chief of Police
the duties of the office of Chief of Police
in the city of Boise, Ada County,
in the city of Boise, Ada County,
Idaho.
Idaho.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now Chris will be joined by his wife, Catherine, to pin his badge. And then after that, the chief will share some remarks. You can take the plastic when you're done. Should I have taken it out? Sorry. Yeah.
Just like that. Yeah. Well, first, I do want to thank Madam Mayor, members of council for the trust that they've given me. Ron, you and Tammany have been phenomenal in helping me through this process. I just want to say that I will absolutely not let the men and women down of the Boise Police Department. Thank you. Lastly, I want to thank my wife and my daughter. This is a huge move. I was born and raised in Tucson, spent the last 20 years dedicating my life to the profession in the city of Tucson. And I am beyond excited to dedicate the next chapter of my life with my family to the city of Boise and doing the same work that I did in Tucson here. So I want to thank you all very much for being here today.
Well, thank you. Please, you be at ease. I'm going to invite everybody to stay with us for a lunch reception honoring Chris Dennison. Please say hello, introduce yourself, have great conversation. Look forward to spending the next little bit of time with each and every one of you. And thank you for being here.
We adjourn. Madam Mayor, I'd move that we adjourn.
Second. Aye.
Aye.